All right, listen up, y'all.
Greetings, everybody. This is Dr. Abdullah, your host and educator at All Things Education Official, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective. Today, we're going to deal with a doozy. Today, we're going to listen to King Randall and his take on social media and how it's affecting our children. Let's roll King Randall's, hear his words.
So now you just allowing your kids to do whatever. Now your kids got social media because all the other kids got social media. And you don't realize, I tell parents all the time, go check your kid's phone. I do that every podcast I go on. Go check your kid's phone right now. They're meeting up with people you don't know they're meeting up with. They're talking to people you don't know they're talking to. They're sending nude photos back and forth. They're smoking, etc. Yes, your little Jimmy that you raised all nice, who you let make all the decisions in his life, is doing all this crazy stuff. And this is all of them. Like all of them are doing craziness, and a lot of it is being perpetuated from them being allowed to utilize social media. What's happening on socials with the algorithms, etc., is being done on purpose for those kids.
All right. According to the American Psychological Association at www.apa.org, in an article entitled APA Chief Scientist Outlines Potential Harms, Benefits of Social Media for Kids, when it comes to the potential risk or benefits of social media for children, we should not look at social media as a whole, but instead focus on specific features and behaviors that are built into social platforms and to which children are particularly vulnerable, according to the Chief Science Officer at the American Psychological Association. Developmental neuroscientists have revealed that there are two highly critical periods for adaptive neural development. Pristine said in written testimony, one of these is the first year of life. The second begins at the outset of puberty and lasts until early adulthood. So from approximately 10 years old to 25. The latter period is highly relevant. So you're talking 10 to 25. That's the most relevant period because it's when a great number of youths are offered relatively unfettered access to devices and restricted or unsupervised use of social media and other online platforms. So essentially what that's saying is that we know that our children tend to get their cell phones around 9 or 10 years old. And that's during the period in which they become extremely adaptive and addicted to certain algorithms, to the actual device itself. Pristine explained that an implication of these findings is that children may not have the ability to restrain themselves from using social media too much. So saying, why don't you get off of it? Can't you get off? The answer probably is no. Recent research shows over 50% of teens reported at least one symptom of clinical dependency on social media. So if you ever had a kid and you told them, I'm going to take your phone away, and they began to tear up, they got excited, or they were just trying to figure out any way to make you not take it away, that's because that's a symptom of addiction to the device and or social media. Social media also heightens the risk for negative peer influence among adolescents, as well as for addictive social media use and stress, he added, citing research showing that many young people use social media more than they intend to, and that they have difficulty stopping its use. But it's not all bad news. Some research demonstrates that social media use is linked with positive outcomes that can benefit youth mental health, according to Princeton. Perhaps most notably, psychological research suggests that young people form and maintain friendships online. These relationships often afford opportunities to interact with more diverse peer group than offline, and the relationships are close and meaningful and provide important support to youth in times of stress. He said, this can be especially important for youth with marginalized identities, including racial, ethnic, sexual, and gender minorities. Well, that last portion was very interesting because we know in the Black community, you meeting somebody online and being friends with them, that's a no-go. We not having that. I want to meet them. Where they mama at? Where they live? I don't know where they live. You met them online. Oh no, you might get trafficked. They might kidnap you. Are you crazy? You ain't gonna meet up with nobody. What did King Randall say? He let it be known. They're meeting up with people. They're talking to people they don't know. That's a no-go. We look at social media as purely a form of entertainment. So when we tell them to shut it down, give me your phone, in our minds, that's just like turning off the TV. But for them, it's extremely addictive. I have worked as a social worker, a teacher, and a disciplinarian, and let me tell you, the most foolishness goes on social media. In this generation, particularly Snapchat and TikTok, and group chats. That's the killer. When they say they got put in the GC, you already know it's going to be some foolishness that's about to go down or has already went down. It takes for me to get screenshots of Snapchats. It takes for me to get screenshots of group chats in order for me to find out what the real motivation of a fight that may have occurred at 8 o'clock in the morning. You have teachers running in, they're fighting. I don't know how you start fighting at 8 o'clock. No, that fight started yesterday around 5 o'clock and it culminated and came to a head in your classroom. Please, parents, stakeholders, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever you are, if you have children, if you have access to children that are in your care, you are going to have to monitor and modify their use of social media. Personally, in my case, my 11-year-old, he has a phone, he has social media. I limit, he does not have his phone during the week. He has his phone only Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays up until 5. After that, it's books, it's reading, it's conversation. We do movies, but as far as him being stuck to that phone, I can't have it because I know the negative effects it can have on our children. Once again, this is Dr. Abdullah giving you educational news from foundational Black American man's perspective. Please tell me what you think. Share some of your stories, your horror stories in the comments about your children, your students, friends, or family that are obviously addicted to what we call social media and how it may or may not have affected their lives. I love to hear about it. Love to get some commentary. You got any ideas? Please feel free to email me at DrAbdullah. That's DrAbdullah at AllThingsEducationOfficial. Once again, that's DrAbdullah at AllThingsEducationOfficial.com. You are dismissed.
Yeah!